What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually save this as a dummy file because I'm going to do something a little bit different. And people have seen this before. What website shall we make my website look like?
Adobe.
Adobe? Adobe might be tricky. They might be too smart. So here's Adobe's website. Oh my Lord. Now let's save it. Let's keep it right there. Now, I don't know that it's going to really do very much, but if I look at let's look at this, see what we can find out. View page source. Okay. Wow. There's a lot of links here. And a lot of these are for different languages, right? And for different browsers. So IE means, you know, go there for these different browsers. Look at all the languages they have to support, right? And all the countries. Remember it said go to adobe.com. I'm going to try and find their style sheet, okay? And I'm going to do it, you know, the way a 14-year-old would do it. I'm going to do Control F, and we're going to try to look for CSS. What can we find? 1 of 4. That's coded. Can't do anything with that one. Oh, okay. Link rel style sheet. href equals Titan. Yeah, sure, I can probably get to that. If I click on it, interesting. etc. I bet it doesn't show me. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, so it gave me, now, did you notice that the link wasn't full the way it was for that picture at IBM? Did you notice this? href doesn't start with HTTP, right? Does everybody understand that? This already starts in a folder underneath adobe.com. So if you click on this, it will actually give you the full link, right? And there it is. This is the style for adobe.com, okay? This is
so
what
basically it omits the domain to avoid repetition.
Well, that's correct. It's called a relative path link. But basically, if I want to make my system look like Adobe's, or if I wanted to make a bogus Adobe site for targeting you or starting up a competitive business, I could just copy this, right, to get the path. Now I know the path to the style sheet. And then I can simply add the style declaration here, right? You see link rel style sheet, href equals, okay? And that's all I have to do in my page, right? So again, I would go to Dreamweaver or something like it, which by the way is a nice editor. You downloaded this too. It lets you create HTML pages in a WYSIWYG or what you see is what you get format. So I can just type. I can just type, as you can see, right? And it adds paragraphs for me as I type. In the code view here, I can see that, all the tags, right? But if I want to make it look like Adobe, I have to add some style here. So I'm going to save this as something else. We're going to save this as, because I don't want to overwrite the index anymore. Let's save this as CSS experiment. Okay, .htm. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I have style, you know, on this page already, and I've already showed it to you, right? It's this thing called style here. Do you see it? This whole declaration is all the style for this. And if you can close it up, because it's a little hierarchy, and if I hover over it, it'll actually tell me what's inside. You see that? It's very nice. It's a nice way to work with text. But I'm going to get rid of it just by deleting it. And now this has no style. Okay, do you see? It now looks like boring. This is basically what the browser does when it has no style at all. Okay?
Wow.
The fonts are all Times New Roman. And it still doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look the way it used to. So now I'm going to put a style sheet link in here. Okay? And we're going to do that right here. And that was a link, right? Link rel equals, and then I can just, think I can just paste it, right? What else did I need there? Style sheet? I think so. Link rel equals style sheet, href. Okay, I missed the href. Sorry. Link rel style. Can't type.
href.
Href? Just ref.
To
Wasn't it
make
ref?
it easier, couldn't you just copy the whole entire thing, including the link?
I could,
Yeah? Okay.
but unfortunately, it wasn't the full path. So I wanted the full path. So it was everything from. Okay, you know what? Here, I'll show you the easy way to do this. I wanted to show you that you have to get the full path first. But if you know it's Adobe, www.adobe.com, all you have to do is this. Okay, watch. I'll delete that. You're right. All I have to do is this. Copy that. Right? Go back to Dreamweaver. Put that right there. Okay. But it's not going to work because I don't have www.adobe.com. Now I do. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's the two ways to do it. Now, when I hit return, it should change, but it doesn't look like it. Well, it did a little bit. Did you notice it? It looks different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different typeface. It's not that different though. Let me see if I can undo this. Nah, I don't know. Let me try doing this, and then I'm going to save it, and we're going to look at it in a browser, because I think that might make a difference. This one was 2200, and it's this one, right? CSS experiment. Yeah, it's not really doing very much. I don't know whether I got the right link, the style sheet or not. Let's see if there's other ones. Because that's 3 of 4. Do we have any others? Nah. Oh, there's another one. Look at that. So let's do this one.
I was wondering also, do we need to use HTTPS?
For these links, no. Well, yes, actually, depends on their server, right?
Mm.
Again, HTTP is not usually secure.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's try this again. Okay, so they have more than one style sheet linked. Isn't that cool?
So without style, it doesn't look good, but it doesn't look bad, right?
No, it doesn't do anything yet.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't load all of them. You have to load all of them, and it might require some extra stuff.
But that's the rule of style anyway, like, with clothes, with like jewelry.
Well,
you gotta look good with
sort of.
Just a joke I'm trying to make, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I understand. Let's open this up again, see if anything changes. Nope, not yet. So those two style sheets aren't doing anything yet. There's probably one more. We can try it. That was Adobe. View source. That's one. We got that one. Did we get this one?
Item.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's the text, and that's place 4. Where's the other one?
1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, it's only 3.
Yeah. But
it looks like there's script here to actually make the style sheet. So Adobe, Adobe's smart about this. People who are not so smart about this are people like the Government of Canada. So if I go to canada.ca and I do the same thing, view the page source, and we look for CSS, Yeah, there they are right there. Look at them. Isn't that nice?
So in this case, you will have to add all three.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In fact, I'm going to add their script as well. All four. Okay. Copy this. Go back to Dreamweaver. Whoops, wrong one. We will get rid of these resources because they didn't work. I'm not sure why, but they're doing something tricky. We'll put these resources in, and they should work, except for what? What do I have to do, guys?
Add the
website address?
website.
I have to add the domain. Yep, you're
Domain,
correct.
yeah.
So, by the way, this white space doesn't matter. Computers don't care if there's white space or not, but it's easier. So, in this case, we have href. What was it again? It's that's the root. So it's www.canada.ca. Okay, that's easy. I should be able to remember that.
But it has two forward slash.
Yeah, that's okay. That just means it's the root.
Okay, okay. I see.
And it's probably HTTPS, right? Did I do that right?
No, you don't need the two slash.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just, I'm going blind today. I've been looking at things so long. Where's the forward? Yeah. HTTPS? Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we copy this. If we get it right, that is. And we do the same thing. Paste. Whoops. Where did that come from?
I think there was already a slash there earlier. So.
Oh, okay. That's weird, eh?
So the source, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That looks good to me. Okay, so when I click this, it should turn into the Government of Canada website.
What
If all
about
this works.
the
Oh, look at that.
link?
Sorry. One sec. Which one?
You copy 3, right? You only
Yep.
added
Yeah, do you see that?
Canada.ca to 2 of them.
That's true, because this one, https.use.fontawesome.com, already has a URL. They are using these fonts from fontawesome.com.
So we don't need to connect the Canada website to this then?
No, because do you see that was already there. It wasn't just a folder, it was a whole URL with a domain name, .com and HTTPS. That means it's the full thing. So what I've just done, okay, if we look at this in Chrome, what I have just done is I now have the Government of Canada look and feel on our website. The fonts, the colors, the dividers, the table structures, everything.
What about the padding? Is that something that we have to manipulate ourselves?
Yep, the padding. No, the padding is there. It's probably in script. I'd have to look at it for more than 2 seconds. But you see how that works, folks, right? It's all transactional. All of that information is going out to the net. It's going out to different servers depending on where I told it to go, right? It's looking at these addresses, right? So the Government of Canada has a server with a folder called etc., with a folder inside that called designs, with a folder inside that called Canada, with etc., etc. So we get to these themes, right? And everything else.
How did that script above it actually work with this Stylesheet Link.
I'm not sure it does. And to find out for sure, I would have to go to the script and look at it. I just took it in case because I noticed it's going to Adobe Assets. So it might be, that might be the positional thing right there that I don't have access to. But you can certainly, since it's a URL, go to the URL,
Yeah, I just clicked it right now.
and put it in the browser. And does it go anywhere? Can we see it, or do they have it locked down?
I did that text.
Oh, we can't get it. Okay, we can't get to that one.
I clicked it from the source file.
And did it work?
It took me to a page with like a license.
Ah, yeah. Okay, so we don't have the license. So there are some limitations to this. Okay, there it is, right?
Yeah.
There it is, right there, right?
If you click there, that's what happened. Yeah, that's what I got.
But that's it. But that's the script. This is the script.
So this is telling how to interpret the style sheets.
Yeah, and in fact, you can see I did it wrong, right? You see how this is adobe.com? It's not canada.com, right? It's a redirect. They've redirected it.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Very, very tricky. But you could try using this one instead, right? You could try actually just copying and pasting the source to see if you could get it. This. Right? Just the way we did with the other ones. Okay, so did you see how easy that was, folks?
Yeah.
Right? When we talk about things being connected, it's not just about sending stuff around. Like explicitly. It's not about making an explicit transaction like FTP is, or like uploading files to a directory. That's all true, and that's all the real thing, right? But what happens these days is underneath the covers, these things happen in the fraction of a second. In the fraction of a second. And then are worked in the magic of the browser. Oh, and does Dreamweaver have a browser in it? Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. That's how it works. So you can work in the code view, or you can work in this what you see is what you get view. You can do multiple pages at the same time in this little editor. You can use all the tags, all the formatting you like. It has a CSS designer if you want to design your own CSS. So it lets you do a lot of stuff in this tool. And if you've downloaded Adobe Cloud, right? Creative Cloud, you have Dreamweaver to work with if you want to play with it. Questions about any of that?
How much of this do I have to know how to do?
How much of this, the tricky stuff I was showing you, you don't have to know how to do it so much as appreciate how easy it is to do.
That was easy?
Yeah. Oh, really easy, because all I did was copy and paste stuff. That's all I did.
Okay, I guess that's true.
Yeah, I didn't have to I didn't even have to, like, honestly, Emily, I don't have to understand this, right? Like I could look at it and understand it as a designer, but to rip it off, all I had to do was copy it.
Like if I went into some website and took their whole thing and put it in there, would it give me the page?
Well, as long as you got the pointers right, as long as you got these references right, then yes. But what I want you to do tonight, actually, I'm going to give you some time. This won't be too much longer. There's one more thing I want to tell you, and then I'll let you go. Is I'd like you to do the tutorial, sort of by hand to build up the basics of HTML. And if you know the basics of HTML, you don't have to do this. Not going to test you on it, but this is a pretty good tutorial, right? It goes through and it explains what HTML is and how to build your first web page, right? To look at the pages, you don't even need a server. You can actually look at it from your desktop the way we were with this other page, okay? You just need a browser and a text editor. Now you can use Dreamweaver, but as they say, you have to be careful when using Dreamweaver because it's really powerful and you can screw up really quickly. Okay, but it's easy to build really simple web pages. The other thing I want you to understand is that there's two real elements to HTML. One is the content, right? The actual semantic content. And that happens in this tag, the body tag, right? Okay. Do you see it there? I just closed it, but it went away. See body, right? That's where all the content is, okay? All of the content, all the paragraphs, all that kind of stuff, right? Inside the other part of the HTML file, which is called the head, you see head, right? HTML head, right? There's head and there's body, that's it. So inside the head is all of the metadata, style links, and all the rest of that stuff. You don't really have to understand that to create HTML. But as soon as you want it to look a certain way, you need to link it to a style sheet. Now, as I said, in this class, we're not going to do too much of this, but it's important to understand because this is how you move digital media around the web these days, right? This is how YouTube works. This is how I create the course site with the YouTube embedded. All that is, I do not have these movies on my system, right? They are embedded, right? So if you go to the page source, you'll actually find the embed, right? Let me find one here. Mail to
I also have a question about, like, in terms of this, with regards to ads that are on the webpage.
Yeah.
They obviously change, right? Like they change depending on, I guess, your history and stuff.
That's correct.
How does that work? Because I know that's not something that's up to the creator of the website.
Yeah, that's not up to the creator of the website. But if you are using an ad framework, right? Like Google's ad framework or Facebook's ad framework or those kinds of things, then the browser reads your information as you use your browser. If you're logged into Google or if you're logged into Facebook, it actually reads the cookies on your machine that gets, which is the trail of digital crumbs that you get by going to different sites. And then it advertises stuff that you're interested in. There's also a recommendation engine in YouTube, right? So if you go to YouTube and you start watching, class stuff, this is, the stuff we were talking about a little while ago, right? If you start watching this, I don't know, YouTube will start recommending things for you to watch based on stuff you watched, right? Just like Amazon recommends stuff for you to buy based on stuff that other people have bought who've also bought your stuff.
So that's not something static, that's in the code itself, right? It's something that will...
Yep. Yeah, it's in the code. Remember when we were looking at Google and it found my name there? That's because I'm logged into Chrome. So it knew that I was logged into Chrome.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I wanted to show you too, if you go to these, right, and you click on the look at on YouTube, right, you probably know this already because you guys use YouTube a lot, I'm sure. But, to get the information to embed a YouTube video, you go to share, and it will actually give you the code to embed it in HTML. You just copy and paste. You copy that, you paste it into an HTML page, the YouTube video will show up. And you can even start it at different times in the video if you want. So YouTube has built this entire infrastructure. There's the URL, but it actually has the player and everything else embedded around it. And YouTube lets you do that very, very simply. It's just copy and paste. But all of these, the up next, the autoplay, the recommendations, you can see I have an interest in photography, at least on this computer, Twin Peaks, community. Let's see, what else? My kids like dinosaurs. I don't know why Scooby-Doo is there. I don't know. I don't know how they, Jim Gaffigan. I don't know how they figure out what to show me, right? But they show me based on stuff I've looked at, right? And the algorithms behind that are super secret and quite disturbing at times.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So
this video was uploaded by you.
Yep.
So would this video have like data crumbs of your?
Well, no, but my channel does, right?
Okay,
So the
so
video itself doesn't.
if I embed this video into, say, my own website,
Yep.
will it have? Will I be able to will it have your website's information embedded in it as well?
No, it won't.
Like your YouTube page?
It'll have my YouTube page because I'm the one that owns this video from YouTube. So if you embed it, it'll still be Jamie Roberts' channel. Won't be yours.
Like the picture that you put out from IBM.
A little bit different. Because that was the actual JPEG resource. That was the actual digital file. When you embed a YouTube video, you're not actually embedding the video. You're embedding YouTube's version of the video. And YouTube knows I own it.
No. When you embedded the link,
Yes.
your code, you're not really bringing in the image. You just bring
Correct. Oh, correct. That's completely correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's completely correct. Yeah, when you embed this, it's like this is not on my server. This is on YouTube servers.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's on YouTube servers is because when I put it on my server last year, it for some reason blew up my server, and I got a nasty gram from my webmaster saying, why are people downloading so much data? So there it is. Okay, questions? Other questions? Did this stuff make sense to you guys?
Yep.
Yeah. It reminds me of what we learned in 2205.
I hope so, Bob. It's really, really, really basic stuff based on what we learned in 2205.
It's very similar, yeah.
Yep. Other questions? Okay, look, I want you to take the rest of the class, or however much time you've got, an hour tonight, right? And work through this tutorial, the HTML tutorial, right? If it's too beginner for you, there's many other ones here. There's CSS tutorials. There's more advanced tutorials, right? Intermediate tutorials, and there's ones that actually will start to look at forms, tables, access. There's also CSS tutorials. So if you don't want to know about positional versus presentational CSS to show you how to make your web pages look however you want, these are also really good. And the JavaScript tutorials, if you know all that stuff, you want to learn a little coding, you can also put code on the page, right? You can also, because it's just text, code is just text, right? And if the browser knows how to interpret that text and run it, like it does with JavaScript, you can do all kinds of stuff in JavaScript. All kinds of stuff. And it can also be on the server, right? But, this will actually show you how to do stuff usefully in the browser. Okay? So there's all kinds of simple tutorials, intermediate tutorials, advanced tutorials. I'm not going to test you on any of this stuff, certainly not in this class, but you can actually make stuff happen, create menus, create buttons, do all kinds of stuff with JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And then all you need is a server, and it'll do it all for you. So for instance, these menus, you see these nice menus, these buttons I'm hovering over? That's all JavaScript. Okay? Is it still just text? It is still just text. Okay. The last thing I want to leave you with before we go tonight is this is the governing body of the World Wide Web. All the technologies, all of the standards, all the tags, all the extensions of the web, like the Web of Things, which sits on top of the Internet of Things, is all governed by the industries that work with this W3C organization. Okay? If you want to find out about any of those technologies at a technical level, okay, this is the place to go. Okay? And I hope somebody didn't break a glass there. So if you want to find out about the Internet of Things and cognitive computing and AI-powered analytics, here's where you get this, the boot camp information. Okay? It's all at the W3C. If you want the HTML standards, the most recent ones, it's all here. If you want to find out about URIs and HTTP and HTTPS, it's all here. Want to find out about XML, it's all here. Questions? Final questions? Okay. Did that make sense, guys? Or did I put you all to sleep?
It's pretty good.
Yep.
That was good, definitely for sure.
Straightforward. Yeah, it's the information.
Okay, good. A little bit to sleep? Okay. So, look, I know it's hard to sleep these days, so it's good. So listen, thank you again. I'm going to post this up. I'll break it into two pieces like I always do. I'll post this up. Please take some time. It doesn't have to be tonight, but you've got some time tonight. Just work through it in a little text editor. One caveat, if you're going to do this on a Mac, you have to set up your text editor so that it just does text and not fancy brackets and stuff, or it won't work. You have to go into preferences and text edit and say, make it plain text. Okay? So make sure you do that before you try to do any of the tutorials, or it won't work. Or you can download, there's some suggestions there. There's some downloads you can make. BB Edit is a good free text editor. It's kind of intimidating looking, but it's just fancy Notepad. Okay? Or if you're on Windows, you can use Notepad, no problem. Okay?
What was the setting for text editor for Mac?
Yeah, let me just quickly show you.
If you go to preferences, yeah.
Yeah, you go into preferences and text edit. Just let me find text edit here. It's here somewhere. There we go. Okay, can you guys see this okay? It's coming up. Oh, do I have to? Yeah, a new document. Let's just do that. Okay, text edit. And you go to preferences. And look at this. You see where it says format? Use the format menu to choose the settings. You don't want wrap. You don't want rich text. It has to be plain text. Okay? And then under options, you have to smart quotes and dashes in rich text documents only. Okay? And then turn off all that other crap about smart quotes, smart dashes, smart links. Turn it all off, okay? Because that will make the difference between being able to do a HTML tutorial, because remember, it's just basic text, and not being able to do the HTML tutorial.
Should we list the smart copy and paste, right? We should leave that one.
That's fine. Yeah, any of the rest of it is fine.
Okay.
Okay?
Awesome.
There it is, folks. Beginnings of HTML. All right. Any other questions?
Did you say smart quotes and dashes on or off?
Off.
Off. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. As plain can be.
So this is how we copy the Canada websites and like get everyone's banking information.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you put that together, Emily, because that's exactly how phishing works. That is how people create fake sites to get you to part with your personal information or to satirize an elected official, right? If they're dumb enough to have all that stuff easy to copy, I can quickly put up a fake website for them and say, dumbest politician ever. With a little bit of skill and a 14-year-old, computer science skills, you can do this really quickly. Trust me.
I knew this degree would pay off eventually.
There you go. There it is.
Wow.
Hey, use this for good, folks. I'm not saying you can't use it for other things. Okay. Thanks so much. I'm going to let you go. Have fun with the tutorial. Take a break, stretch, and play and see if you can get it to work.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to start in on actual media types next week, now that you know how they can be distributed, connected, and displayed. And so please, if you haven't downloaded Creative Cloud, make sure you try and get that running, okay? The other thing I want you to do for next week is start to think of a picture you can use to actually, play around in Photoshop.